We made it, y'all. We made it to the finale of Creature Commandos. Just to reiterate this, folks, I'm Ronan Unchained, your host of Commandos Chats, and we are talking the first project of the DCU era, which is um I have been biting my fucking tongue for so long, and it's hard when it's good, even better. And I'm glad now that we can talk about it amongst us fans and friends. I have with me Darren coming back. Darren, how
Hello.
you
How's it
doing?
going, everybody?
Good, good, good. And I'm mistaken for the first time. Maybe my brain's are not scrambled. Phil, what's up, man?
What's up, dude? How you doing? Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys again. We've been on council before, but I believe you're correct. This is my first time on your channel.
Which it's apropos that it's under a James Gunn project.
Yeah, why is that? What makes you say that?
That's poetry, man. George Lucas had it right. But I'm glad. I think that's serendipitous.
Why do you look like Rick Flag? Why do you look like a sexy dilf?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Anyways, just beyond the point. Before we get started, I just want to address it because it's something I don't want to ignore. I am an Angelino in terms of I was born there, raised there up to a point. Um, I am aware of what's happening out there, and my heart and my condolences go out to anybody. I don't care background, beliefs to an extent, but anybody's been affected by this fire. My heart goes out to y'all, and I salute proudly to the fire departments who are busting their asses, clearly working overtime and just trying to like get this under control ASAP. And that's why one of the reasons why it sucks that this is happening at the same time that this finale occurs, but I maybe we can provide some form of entertainment to anybody who's going through that rough time and whatnot. But know that I'm not ignoring it. Know that it's very personal to my heart and part of me, but that I want to strive forward under my very fortunate circumstances and just give something out. So yeah, I just want to just shout out to LA. To quote Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, it gets darker before the dawn, and I promise you the dawn is coming. So I say keep your head up, y'all, over there.
Yeah, living in California, it's always it's so strange because this almost never happens in January. Like,
Yeah.
And I live, in Northern California, and more often than not during the summer, like 2-3 hours north of me is almost always on fire in the summer. But seeing all of this is just insane to me. Like, I know a few people down there in LA, in the LA area, and thankfully they're not affected by this, but they have friends who are affected by this. Our Lord Ronan's Lord and Savior, maybe not so much mine, Mr. James Gunn himself, and I say that cheekily with love. No, not as dig by any stretch of the imagination. He shared a post today about how, it's the finale of Creature Commandos, and I should be a little more uppity about this, but I can't because I've got friends and family losing their homes and losing a bunch of shit due to this fire. And it's like, yeah, man, this is real, and it sucks, and it really does affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I mean, it's on the news 24/7, and I really don't like a lot of people trying to politicize this and trying to point fingers about, oh, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. It's like, look, this is a natural disaster. This is nature. This isn't any one person's fault. So let's just stop that nonsense right now and maybe be a little more human and try and find a way to help out people who are toughing it out through all this.
Yeah, I would say at the very least, wait till we have a grapple on this, have a plan set out, and then if you want to start doing that, then we could be like, all right, how do we do this to have a better reaction to this than we have right now, set in stone. But yeah, Los Angeles, te quiero. Keep your head up, everybody. Hopefully, everybody stays safe as much as you can possible. But y'all, finale of season 1, because midway through the season, it was confirmed that we're getting a season 2.
Yep.
And
Correct.
Besides Rick Flag Sr., the general, the only character that was left to tell a little bit of their backstory was Nina Mazursky. And I gotta say, y'all, in not the same regards, similar thing of what they went through, but I think that what Wei Chow did as Nina was just beautiful and yet heartbreaking at the same time. Title of the episode is A Very Funny Monster, and it's directed by Matt Peters. And I just want to ask Darren first before we go down through like moments and stuff that just rocked me at least. Darren, you've seen it now. You don't know. How do you feel about it now at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been a very interesting journey through this show. Like, again, there was so much, I would say, hype around this project because it was the first DCU. That's been something we've been waiting for a very long time. I've been excited to have more DC content, or our first look into the larger DC world that we will be getting. Listen, I have some criticisms. I have some things I've loved. I have some things I haven't loved. It's been a mixed bag for me. But you know what? It is good to say that we've reached our first DC project. I think that's very exciting. I think what they have been able to accomplish with the power of animation and storytelling cannot be, unsaid. Like, again, you can feel however you feel about this episode. They told a very powerful story here, and I do respect that.
Yeah, I agree. Phil, we've seen it. We were very fortunate, and damn fucking technology. We were very fortunate. I know, right? I know. Just sad. Just fucking not dare you, James Gunn, do this to Nina. But Phil, we've known about this for a while, and we've had to like be very respectful, which sadly it's in short supply nowadays with social media people. How did you feel? Because again, you've sit with this for a while. So how do you feel now that people have caught up to the events of this episode?
I think for me, us being privileged enough to watch the show like maybe a good month or so before it debuted, all 7 episodes, is number one, the fun is watching the reactions from people who haven't seen it. But for me, when it comes to this episode, I was like, okay, this is, I wondered when we were going to get to Nina's story, and they saved it for last. And I feel like that was very intentional and by design. Look, if you look at the structure of every episode, it's literally present story, backstory of one person in particular. How does that backstory affect the present day, more or less? And I feel like when it came to Nina's story specifically, it had to stick with the landing the most because of what transpires. And I think, to Darren's point, they told a pretty powerful story about acceptance, about being isolated, about change, about so many different themes at play here with the character of Nina Mazursky. And I didn't think I could be so emotional over a woman who's, essentially a fish creature.
Yeah.
And like seeing her origin is just as tragic as the upbringing of Weasel, or what happened to Weasel. It's just as tragic and sad as what you witnessed G.I. Robot go through. Oh, I wouldn't call that sad. I would actually call that more epic than anything, but that's for a whole different reason. But seriously, like her backstory is almost as gargantuanly tragic as what happens with the bride, and even to an extent Phosphorus, who we had last episode. And I had a lot of really solid emotions in a mixed way, but not in a negative way, because it is formulaic to James Gunn as he is as a creative. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it sometimes works for me and sometimes it doesn't, as Ron and I have discussed both, on other platforms. I'm not too keen on the Suicide Squad. I'm not very large on Peacemaker, but I like Guardians 1. I like Guardians 3. I like elements of 2, but on the whole, not so much.
Yeah.
I think this is probably, I could safely say this just might be my favorite James Gunn story to date. And
Mm.
that's after having seen Super, Slither. He produced Brightburn, so I don't really think that really counts all that much. And Superman is still TBD because that movie doesn't come out for another 6 months. So yeah, and I am an animation person by nature. I grew up watching Batman the Animated Series and Spider-Man and X-Men 92, Superman, Justice League. Ronan, by the way, congratulations on getting those 2 box sets. That was lovely to see that. But seriously, like I love animation, and the animation of this show, I'm like, okay, I want more DCU stuff in this animation style. I want Bobby Pills to be on DC's payroll going forward. I want them to do DCU stories in the future. I want, and I'm not trying to be selfish, but it's just like, no, they did a really good job. Look at all of the criticisms the Tomorrowverse stuff got. The animation was stiff, the voice acting was hit or miss, and it wasn't that great. But Creature Commandos pretty much came in and conquered. 7 episodes of one show pretty much overshadows 10 movies?
Yeah.
And the storytelling, and much like Darren, like I have, one big thing that I was just like, nope, wasn't a fan of that. And the 5th episode, well, it was fine. But on the whole, yeah, I like this show a lot. And this is coming from someone who, ask these guys, I'm fairly critical of James Gunn as a creative individual. And I don't mean that negatively. I don't mean that cruelly. Believe me, I can be, but I'm not going to be, because I've outgrown that, depending on where you're at, depending on how much alcohol is consumed. But yeah, it to be brutally honest, yeah, I would safely say I think Creature Commandos might be my favorite James Gunn story so far. But that's also with the caveat of, like, it being an animation fan and being a voice actor fan, just being a fan of that world. And again, like going back to just the final episode, how do you wrap up a 7-episode series about a bunch of monstrous hooligans who are tasked with killing a princess? They stuck the fucking landing, boys. Like, I have no notes on the finale at all. I will say that, like, when certain characters came up at the end, I was like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that? I know who you are. And I was really happy to see someone else come back. But then I started to think about it. I was like, oh, they're going to be real sad when they get a certain bit of news explained to them. Mm-hmm. But overall, I enjoyed it. I would say that my personal ranking of the episodes at top 3 is G.I. Robots episode, the 3rd one, the Cheers to the Tin Man, episode 6, Prieto Skelet, with obviously Dr. Phosphorus, and then probably this one, a very funny monster centered around Nina.
Yeah. Well, first, let's go through the comments before I respond to one of the things that Phil said. Jeffrey Dursky, yo, Ronan, Phil, and Darren, Creature Commandos was amazing, and stay safe out there in LA. Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. Darren replied, hello, Jeffrey. Mikey, I got you, Mike. I got you. Just give me a sec. I am Two Fly Cam or Lamb Two Fly Cam. Heartbreaking ending, but Nina was too sweet in a crow world. Trust me, we are going to get into that, because I wrote some stuff that I'm like, I felt when that happened, because I was just shooketh and pissed off, which I think if that's what the show wanted, they got it out of me. I think I see you, man. We'll get you in right now. That with Phil, dare I say, and Phil knows this, how much I love the Suicide Squad, how much I think Guardians is probably one of the best trilogies in the century, in comic book films, and maybe of all time. I mean, I think it has the punches, and it has everything a lot of people would want in a film, for better or for worse. And I think Creature Commandos rivals all of those projects for me. I think that it has a more cynical angle, and what I mean by that is that, like, there's not much hope, if you will, and it's almost like a very hard mirror to society. And I like that there's, to me, it's a good entree, if you will, for the what hopefully I think James might accomplish with Superman, and telling you this is the same filmmaker containing 2 stories that show the light and the dark. And I like that it's stuck to the promise of chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. This is the monsters annual. This is what happens. To quote the bride herself, Indira Varma, the goddess, you wanted monsters, you got them. This is what it comes with when you want monsters. I saw Superman here, the spoiler. I don't know, Mike. I don't know.
See, I know you too well to know you didn't watch that movie, so.
That is an in-joke, folks, to which I recommend you tune into Council Creators every Wednesday and Party Nation every Tuesday if you want to see Darren hang up out there. But I know someone that you will catch in both those shows from time to time and who has seen the finale of Creature Commandos, and that's Joypad Jake. Hey, Jake, how you doing?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
I thought
Good,
it was going to
man.
be James Gunn. I was
You
wrong.
wore that shirt last night. Do you ever bathe?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Safe to say he's our weasel, I think.
Wait, so you're telling me Never mind.
You tried to save kids from a burning building, dude. I'm giving you props.
That's a hero. That's a hero in my book.
You
Come
get to
on,
live,
man.
bro.
You may
I didn't
like,
think you were going to live.
you may like lick yourself while your lawyer's trying to talk to you, but fuck it. You tried to save some kids, man. You're cool.
You have
Yeah.
plot armor, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bit a burning guy in the arm. What takes
Yeah,
more
you
balls
did.
than that?
Fucking hurt, by the way.
Yeah.
Jake,
Oh.
so you've seen the episode.
Yep.
This is the first project in the DCU era. What was your immediate thoughts as soon as it ended and you took everything in of this episode?
Looking at the project as a whole, and how they built up each character, and at the same time, it didn't feel like they were rushing because there was a clear narrative that they were telling, but you got each of the backstories of the characters as they were doing it. And this show did something that a lot of my favorite, a lot of my favorite comic shows, or really just fantasy shows in general, do, is that they make it personal while building out a fleshed out world and telling you what's in the bigger picture. This show did both in more ways than one, and at the end of the day, that was the biggest thing that I took out of it, is that it told a personal story while still fleshing out in many ways the bigger world that we have yet to explore in future projects.
Yeah. Yeah, and what the hell? Crypto Cave having Mike Commandos. That's July, man. That's July.
So, like, just real quick, are we all gonna like meet up and probably go see a screening of Superman at some point during that weekend,
I am
or like a double bill of Fantastic Four and Superman? Because that's gonna be really hard.
That'd be hype. Yeah.
It's gonna be hard.
That'd be really difficult. Damn it!
Comic-Con.
God damn it, busy.
I saw that. Damn it!
To me, that was one of the most like energy rushing things, was trying to get into a screening of Deadpool Wolverine during Comic-Con, and how it was like minutes of just me dodging bullets, seeing people maybe are not appearing at the event, and it was just like, wow. I mean, right now I'm going to introduce someone right now that can attest how I was like text messaging everybody and be like, yo, just give me 2 hours. I swear to God, give me 2 hours and I'll get back to Comic-Con just to get this out of the way. Speaking out of the way, that's someone who I am pretty sure is going to hang out with us during Comic-Con and is going to be a festival away, and someone who also has been biting his tongue about the knowledge of the Commandos is the Jedi, Mike 7. What's up, Mikey?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, so
is.
so this what happened in the first 20 minutes of Superman. So Kate flapping, Crypto barking. You also get Mr. Terrific's Black Power haircut as well. And then
Superman dies and the Snyderverse is restored once again, right?
Oh,
right, yeah. The Snyderverse restored, and then you see
Batman does get with Lois Lane.
Yeah, exactly, Lois Lane, but the Amy Adams one. So what happened there's a flashpoint mid-film.
God.
So she goes from brunette to ginger like in 2 seconds. So yeah, and then that turns to Amy Adams. And then David Cornsweet, his suit actually it shreds into the Calvin. So that's what happens. So yeah.
Too much spoilers.
What happened?
I like that.
My camera
I
down.
like.
What
I
happened?
Yeah.
like. Yes, I
Yeah.
like that.
I know.
Jake has a
See,
regular
that
Superman
was a
shirt
Snyder
on.
verse. That was a Snyder folk. They were trying to get me.
Yeah.
Jake has a regular
They're
Superman
trying to
shirt
stop me.
on. Mike has a My Adventures with Superman shirt on. Darren, do you have a Superman shirt on?
Shit. I have a Hey Arnold shirt. So.
Take it
Okay.
off. Take it off.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
I can get behind that. It's animated. It counts.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Well,
There
what's
we go.
funny is I saw this guy like 5 minutes ago, and he said he had the same exact shirt at one point.
I was like, remember I told you like when we were doing the breakdown for Superman, it's like, yeah, I outgrew my shirts. And I was like, wait a minute. My first Comic-Con, I got 2 of these shirts, one in black and one in white. Right.
There you go.
You know, and I was like, oh, where is it? And I thought I outgrew this because I'm
You
married.
gave
So I
Jake the
gained
white
some
one,
weight.
didn't
I
you?
was about to say,
You know.
can you lend me the white shirt?
Yeah, so like the white shirt was made in the size of my love meat, so it's like it can fit for people. So, but yeah, but no,
I've got like
I don't
fucking
know. I'm
4 or 5 different Superman shirts, man. I've got one similar to Jake's. I've got a Kingdom Come one. I've got one from Man of Steel, and then I've got one from the new movie coming out. And I'm just like,
Oh hell yeah.
I have like almost as many Superman shirts as I do Batman shirts. And I've even got one that's from Batman versus Superman with Batman and Superman fighting inside
Yeah.
the S.
Nice.
It's like, dude.
I have
I
a
just-
Kingdom Come one ordered. It's just not here yet.
Yeah, but mine's great
Yeah.
because it's black and red, just like
Yeah.
you know, the Death of Superman, but it's Kingdom Come because it's just that
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
I will
Yeah,
say it was happy to see it was happy to see King Shark, but having that reaction with Miguel and everybody when we saw him was like, yay! It was-
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
we'll-
good
we'll
to
get
see.
We'll get there, but yeah, that was one of those moments that I'm like, oh shit, all right, cool. But and I was just like, but again, it's a weird thing where I'm still mourning someone, and yet I'm like, oh, there's this new energy for DC that I just can't ignore, and I love that about this episode. Jeffrey says you get a monument, Jake. LOL. Well, maybe not now.
Hey, you know what? I'm patient. I can wait.
Mr. Every
I
Black
wanted
Power.
to see that. I was hoping to see that, and Brad
Ogawa,
ruined it for him.
Black Power.
Oh, Gracie. I think Busy's doing the salsa dance right there. But yeah, I think so. To go into the episode, it has a like.
Uh-oh.
What if it
See,
happens?
the Snyder folks are trying to sabotage the damn stream. We're not gonna do it.
They
Make
got
sure you hit the
nothing.
like button, comment, subscribe, and share. Get my brother into 1,000 subscribers. It's
Restore the Ronin
2025.
stream.
New goals. Yes.
Restore the Ronin stream.
Restore the Ronin stream. Yeah.
What do we think he was trying to say? He said they got blank.
Everybody make predictions.
They got nachos.
I'm
they
not good at
that. They got toothbrushes. They got.
I think me and Darren are only good at making predictions when it comes to Disney stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
So I have a question for so in terms of the writing of the episode for Nina, it's like, again, I think what this show kind of differentiate from he'll be back intermission is that what we kind of get into this team being different from the Suicide Squad. I think it's a conversation about which one you prefer, because I actually do agree with you, Phil. Like, I actually like this team better than James's Suicide Squad. My personal opinion, even though it has more iconic characters on that team, I like the writing and backing of this one. Now, yes, one movie during the pandemic, 7 episodes. If I get it. More time with these characters, you like them more. But I think I like to see in terms of seeing them in multi, dimensions in terms of their layers of their character, and also areas to relate, even in trauma, sadness, grief. And I really would Nina being the most relatable to me out of any of them, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, I know me and Jake were talking about it recently though, but it's just like to have a parent, like 2 parents, to have the male father to be so devoted to holding his child, and have the mother who the child literally came out of her body to be like,
All
no,
right,
I don't.
everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We got you, man. We good.
Yeah.
I think that was a.
All right, give me 1 sec.
You good?
I don't know what
I
the
feel
hell
like
I'm wrong.
Yeah, it just again, it's folks they're trying to tackle a stream, but I rebuke them in the name of the Lord. But yeah, so with having the parents basically being those type of archetypes for this show, I felt like even though those type of people exist, you don't really see that much in media a lot, and I got shout out to James for at least taking that risk, and I feel that pay off because then that delivery of of the dad getting taken out wouldn't have hit as hard if he wasn't that devoted.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I have to like commend them for what they were able to do, because I feel like my biggest criticism was always just I want more of it, right? I wish we could have had a little bit more time with these characters and stuff like that. But what they were able to do with the runtime they had, 20 minutes each episode, to do their backstory, to do all these things, you have to commend them to like would I have like maybe 30-minute episode? Sure, of course. Like more can never hurt. But I think I think it does at least have to be like shouted out.
I will say to that point though, I would have been interested to see more of it in those episodes too, but I think it definitely fit the structure of the story they were telling. Like those episodes and the number of episodes, it fit the story that they were trying to tell.
Right. I will say to kind of Mike's whole thing, where it's like after Suicide Squad, and I'm someone who actually like I enjoy that movie. I'm a huge fan of it. Like I had said, I would love a Suicide Squad series. Like I love the idea of a anthology like show where each season's a rotating cast of characters with, you obviously can keep some of the roster, but obviously some are going to die, so you're gonna have to keep swapping it out. And I think this is kind of their way of doing that. Obviously it's about monsters, and you're not gonna have like your Harley Quinn and your Deadshot and whatever there, but I think that's like that. There was a really exciting moment at the end. We can talk about that later, but like when all those new members are showing up, and we had someone from the movie show up, of like, okay, this is really exciting. Like I really like the concept of getting a new cast every season. That's fun.
Yeah. And I think that was probably one of the best things that they could have ended it with, even if that wasn't the technical last scene we saw because of what happened after the credits. That was I think that was one of the best things that they ended it with. Like they set up the new people. I think a lot of people were I saw a lot of negative remarks saying, oh well, there's not really anything that like directly leads into the next project coming out, Superman. I was like, there's little breadcrumbs that tie into things here and there, but even then the point of this project was not to set up that one. Like that wasn't the goal. And also I was just telling Mike about this. I would not be surprised if in Superman, like you just see a random point of a news article or like a TV broadcast telling what happened within this show, and just that have that little bit of connective tissue. Yeah,
and I think this I'm very curious about Waller, because I think this show puts Waller in a very interesting place in terms of like her morals and because I thought this is actually my favorite thing that Waller has been in, because I think I was able to relate to her so personally, like this idea that her whole thing is like, I will protect the Earth no matter what at all costs. She failed basically. Like if it wasn't for our team, she would have destroyed the world. Like that was on her. So I'm curious mentally where she's going to be at with her trial. With that, like that's going to be very interesting.
Is that the next thing to come out after Peacemaker?
Well, so Lanterns is the next thing coming out of after Peacemaker side, like in terms of series wise. Film wise, is Supergirl. But with Waller, even though it's still in development, it has the writers I think attached to Doom Patrol. That's gonna be doing that show. But to your point, Darren, it's like what it reminded me of in terms of the animated series Waller from Justice Unlimited, the fact that she had this such devotion and fear against these people, but a valid reason. Even to the point that she'll do things that would like compromise people's like integrity, whatever. She's like, I don't care. I'll use leverage against you, but you understand why. The other version, you just think that she's just like this evil woman, whatever, right? But then now with Peacemaker, you see the other side with her daughter, and now to the point, beginning of this this show, that if the secret's out about the Suicide Squad, so now there's legally she can't use metahumans, for task force, so she used monsters, and now. At this point, she led to basically assassination of a princess. Even though, she was destined to be crazy, but still, that's probably a court of law, for a war to happen. This And but I think that for the Waller series to get a more, again, like bringing into the new wave of the DC universe, Amanda Waller is a pivotal figure, even from a human level, just like Nick Fury was a pivotal character for Marvel. And I hope again that Viola Davis, as she's continually attached to this character, that we get to see more range from her in terms of stories again, because again, I love her performance with it, but Amanda Waller as a character, when she's done right, she definitely delivers.
Yeah. I really like her being seemingly a bit softer in this continuity. Like, I like the scene, what is it, episode 6, where she's leaning over Rick's bed and being like,
Yeah.
"Man, like you're too old, you're too stubborn, get up, like you're not dying here." Like, I felt like real like connection that she's had that I don't think we've seen in like the DCEU up until this point.
Right. And
Well, she also kind of got his kid killed, so
that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Guilt.
She probably feels some kind of guilt there.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. And that same thing, I think, applies to both. I think that applies to the bride in this episode with what happens to Nina. She definitely feels some guilt there because she essentially encouraged her and led to that outcome.
Right.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me now good or no?
You good?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
All
Yeah.
good, man.
All good.
Fucking technology. Yeah, it's, to me, I love that you guys pointed out Amanda Waller, because I think now there's some intrigue now going into her show that is there. Bless you. We got a sneeze.
Achievement unlocked.
Yeah. I just love that there's that angle now going into Waller and being like, what's that going to explore? And now how does her influence have now on the DCU?
So I was just laughing at the two of them.
I know. I'm like, what the hell are they doing?
Being fools. Sorry. I didn't mean to distract you.
I was like, is Phil doing magic tricks?
I can show you magic
Treat me
trick.
like a cat. I don't know.
Are you gonna make a pencil disappear?
I mean, I could drop my pants, pop my thumb up my boo-boo, make a half-court shot. Anyone gets that reference, you're fucking awesome. It's another animated show. Not at all done by anything DC related, though.
Anyways, I don't know if you guys brought it up, but I was so heartbroken to see Nina's, like, what her parents went through her birth. To me, seeing that angle just humanized more where she's come from. And like, to me, this was one of the strongest, and yet like, I can't believe I'm watching this, but I how many parents go through this? And so my heart went out to the Mazurskys, and it was just so heartbreaking. And then you see how she is being kind to folks and whatnot. I think that's why it's a miracle to me that she was such a sweet soul. And anyway, what did you guys think about the parent stuff? Because I thought that was so fascinating to see where she came from.
I just understood Phil's reference. I was 8 Crazy Nights. It took me a second.
You're welcome.
I just understood that. It took me a second to get that. Anyway,
I think Nina, in a way, represents, and her family as a whole, the family unit there, it represents children born with deficiencies, born with disabilities in a certain respect. And I feel like any parent, if they had the means to, they would go out of their way to try and find a cure for their child, be it, cancer, cerebral palsy, whatever condition that is afflicting their child and causing some kind of, prevention from growth or normalcy, I guess would be the best way to, and I use that term loosely because nothing's really normal in this world anymore. But my point is like the metaphor is there for, being different. And more often than not, sometimes one parent, not both, but one is quick to just walk away. And it sucks, like, because then the child is saddled with just one parent to look up to, and that parent immediately becomes the superhero. And if you look at if you look at Nina's upbringing, she basically treats her dad, well, not treats her dad, she looks to her father as the only friend in the world, the hero who took care of her and saved her life, albeit it came with a cost of turning her into you know, an amphibianic fish person. And what does that lead to? A life of cruelty and ridicule, which I'm sure a lot of us can identify with. I know for damn sure I can.
Yeah.
Like seeing all those kids just be cruel to her growing up. Like all she wants to do is try and play lacrosse, and you've got some little snot-nosed brat just cracking jokes. It's like, dude, I put up with that shit when I was in high school learning how to skateboard. I got made fun of all the fucking time. That shit sucks. It hurts. But like making fun of someone because of a physical appearance thing is just so wrong. And you know, I'm sure there are those fans who are out there who are like, oh, see, James Gunn is glorifying that. No, you missed the fucking point, number one.
The
Number
mark.
two, bingo. Like it's good storytelling is what it is when you make it relatable.
Relatable.
Now, what I do not find relatable is the bride fucking Victor Frankenstein, but that's a whole different conversation for another day. But seriously, like look at the way Nina looked up to her fan. Look at the way Nina looked up to her dad in this show, bro. Like the only person she could look to, and he did everything he could to make sure she was okay. And the world still was so cruel to her. And that's just so fucked.
And they took that person from her in like the worst way possible.
100%. 100%.
And that was probably like, I don't know if anybody else got signs of this, but that kind of showed me of some ways about how and I use this term loosely, justice system is really fucked in some ways.
Yep.
Yes.
I got a
some
lot
ways,
of that from that moment, which was definitely, I felt like handled well, but also not like hit over the head. And again, before somebody makes that comment of, oh, does that mean James Gunn's glorifying corrupt justice? No, but that's a part of our real world, and it happens.
Yeah, big part of comics is that. And I'm so excited to see us take on Gotham because it's like, man, if that's the corruption here, look, what's Gotham going to be like?
It's not going to look like Matt Reeves' version.
Nope.
And that
one already looked pretty fucking dead.
No, we see gargoyles. Gargoyles.
Right.
Yeah.
Gargoyles.
Yeah.
I mean,
Go ahead,
Jared. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just going to say, like, I thought, like, the mother thing was very fascinating because, like, my immediate reaction was, fuck this woman. How could she do this to their own daughter? But I also, you know, there's, like, this post-mortem depression that she's probably going through. There's this idea of, like how much of it is under her control. Like, again, I could be like, how could you? You're her mother. But no one's ever really gone through that before. That's something that no one has ever processed. She can't go to her friends and be like, or a doctor or a therapist, be like, how do I handle this? There is no handling it. And like in her mind, her daughter kind of died. Like, that's not her daughter. And like, again, that sucks. That's a greater, you know, talk on like society as a whole. But it's like when you imagine your child a certain way and they come out and it's like, oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be. You can somewhat kind of understand how she kind of got to that point. Again, we don't know what she went up to afterwards, if she ever tried to reach out or anything like that. But I did find that to at least be like an interesting conversation to be had, or to shine a light on, you know, that part of like motherhood, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To me, it was even the whole thing of the justice system was her going into school, and even the lady saying, "Well, of course, she's your daughter. Of course, we'll let her in." It's just like, how many kids have that privilege? How many kids have that fortune, quote unquote fortune, because you got into a cool school, but was it worth it with her getting picked on the whole time and her seeing just glimpse of lacrosse? I want the sports lacrosse, trying to join that, and then there's bullies in lacrosse. I saw that and I was like, fuck, man. Like it's ridiculous. And I don't know, to me, it was her. Listen, I'm going to show it for a quick second and then I'll take it off. But to me, when she left home, and I know I've gone through that phase a little bit mentally where I just need my space to do my own thing. And like, I thank you for putting me on this map. but I need to take some weight out of your shoulders, and I need to figure out who I am. And I like that she had a moment to try to be like, go figure out who she was outside of her own. I even hate when saying a comfort net, if you will. And then you see how that plays out, where she's being dragged off, and her father goes to reach out one last time to be like, "You're not a burden," and to see this happen to him, and see how she even rewatching it, she can't even yell out his name, like because of oxygen stuff. She just yells out, mutters something, and again, it's the brilliance of when you do something that it's not just for entertainment value, but you're saying something how you feel with the world. You damn well sure know that the notes of being like, make sure that gun is in full like shot angle. Make sure it's hanging on to it, so you know it's saying something of how we respond to stuff. And it's him saying, listen, let's just try something new for once, for fuck's sake. Let's just try something new instead of the old ways to respond to something that way. And again, it's weird what you're saying, how like you're put through this emotional wreck, and yet Star City and Bloodhaven is mentioned at the same time. It's
And
cool.
Metropolis.
it's a fascinating thing how he does this storytelling, and I it broke my heart. And even him saying she can't breathe the air. Minutes later, she gets thrown into another tub, and it's like she was gonna be okay, and it's just like, fuck, man, quote unquote okay. And it just,
Yeah.
I love that storytelling. I love that you're just put in the middle of just seeing a family being torn by society, and just how she persevered. She persevered, and I admire that so much.
And it's kind of an extension on that, I will say. When that moment that you just showed happens, the way that you see all of the onlookers reacting to that, because the other person in uniform was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, did this actually just happen? And then there's a whole mixed array of reactions from everybody else. But you even still see the one who fired the shot. He didn't drop his gun. He didn't. So he's kind of stuck in that moment of like, and this is a common thing that's often put in with law enforcement, is that like that whole thing where you only fire if your life's in danger, and you see so many examples where they go against that golden rule in the system. And again, like I said earlier, it's part of life that happens, but it's also real.
Yeah, and it's happened twice, which I think will reflect the kind of world we're. And also it's different. I think it's interesting because we're in this like established world where superheroes and monsters and creatures already exist. So like I get you're going to be scared of what this thing is, but also you should know by now that everyday people might just look like a fish, right? Like everyday there might just be a weasel kind of walking around and stuff like that. And again, I'm so curious kind of when we bring up characters like Batman and Green Arrow and even Superman, I think he's going to touch on the like corruption story. I think in an interesting way. And like it seems like we're telling a story in that movie about, I know that we're not talking about that here, but like how the world perceives heroes and stuff like that, and like what is his involvement going to shed a light on, if that makes sense.
Well, that's probably also going to fit how Gunn has described Superman too. Like he says that Superman is kindness in a world that sees kindness as old-fashioned. You see the world that we've been exposed to in this past 7 episodes, they are definitely in that mindset of kindness is old-fashioned. So if Superman is going to be kind of the thing that breaks that, then that'll be good to see.
Yeah, I agree.
Amen to that.
Something that's old-fashioned, and yet it's funny as fuck the way this performance has been going, is David Harbour's Frankenstein. Now, while I went MIA for a quick sec, I don't know if y'all brought it up, but this dude, my God, heinous acts after heinous acts, and I can't stop watching the motherfucker. It's fascinating what he does with dialogue, and you lead up to him still like pounding over the bride, even though he can't see the fucking signals.
Yeah,
I'm like, there she goes, just like old times. Like, no, imbecile, no. And I loved how that transitions, because it still kept them in the story, but it went back to the core group of like, okay, they're on a mission to take out the princess, and they've seen something on the monitor that we don't know yet what it fully is, although we could put the piece together. and you slowly start seeing Bride take up the leader mantle, whether she wants to or not. And I love these subtle moments of like her even talking to Nina, not calling her fish or anything, just be like, Nina, Waller said we got to do this. This is worth it. You know, we got to do it and whatnot. And I love that we start seeing the Bride's growth. And to me, something that was so beautiful and fucked up at the same time. And that's what I love about what you can do with this type of storytelling, is that it's finally addressing Nina as one of us. It's the freaks, quote, one of us, one of us. It's her saying, you're a monster just like us. And we need you to do this, even though we know you don't want to do this, but you're the only one that can do it from her perspective. And them like her, again, comforting Weasel, then telling her the plan, and then both Phosphorus and the Bride putting their hands on her shoulder. To me, that's a shot that I'll never leave my brain. And yet I'm like, oh no, what are they gonna put it through? And yet it's like, I believe it's a wholesome moment of acceptance of them finally being a team. And I don't know, what are you guys' thoughts on that moment? Because I thought it was just beautiful in the most effed up way.
Well, to that point, I mean, like, that's how you create stakes. Like, whenever you sense something bad about to happen to characters, is when something good has just happened. So you have like these characters accepting her, and then I'm sure you guys can probably think of many examples in different stories where someone is finally accepted into a group after X amount of time of perseverance, only for them to be just taken away from it in one way or another.
Polka Dot Man.
Key example. But no, I even got similar vibes from that watching this episode. And you have those characters too that desperately want, more than anything, to be part of that group, that community, that family, that just want to find their place. And then when it gets taken from them in, again, one form or another, it's brutal. But as I've said a couple times here, going to be a broken record at this point, it's compelling, it's believable, it's relatable. So like, those brutal things happen, but they tell a compelling story with it.
Yeah, which is why I'm so excited for this to be a seemingly multi-seasonal show, because again, so much streaming. Oh, it's a one season, and then either it never gets a second season, or we have to wait 5 years to get another season.
That would suck.
And it's so nice to like this was the foundation they needed to set. They needed to create this team. You needed to get introduced to all these characters. Now that some of them are set, now that you kind of know where they came from and who they are, I think I'm personally going to like season 2 even more, because you've already laid the groundwork and you can kind of I think it can flow a lot better come season 2, once we've already kind of established that like found family tism to the show. It's like same with Peacemaker season 2. I'm excited because I think that season's also going to flow better now that they're already a team, they're working together, now they're just going on this mission and telling the story they need to tell in season 2.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think the end, they were all kind of functioning as a unit, and ultimately that was good. But as Jake mentioned, there was some consequence there, because Brad was like, look, it has to be you. You have to be the one to do this. You're the only one of us that can do this. And that ultimately leads to, unfortunately, the death of Nina Mazursky. And it's like,
and I guarantee you Bride feels some guilt for that, because she literally put the dagger in her hand.
Oh, for sure. 100%. Yeah. And like looking at the roster for the second season, I'm just like, I don't know how GI Robot's going to take that news.
Oh
yeah,
like he may be an automaton, but still, that was his friend.
Yeah,
that. And then I'm curious to see, because I don't think this was necessarily explored too much. How is Weasel going to react to the person he thought was his friend ended up being a monster? That whole thing with the princess. I wonder what sort of emotional reaction that's going to cause.
I don't think he really cares all that much. They got out of there fairly quick.
That's fair.
Weasel's just concerned about Weasel.
Oh, I'm surprised what they've done with that character over these past couple episodes. Considering you have a character that cannot have verbal dialogue, you've gotten some of the most emotion out of that character.
Well, that's the thing. In a way, also because of him, Nina's dead too.
That is
Yeah,
true.
because he did.
He blew their cover.
Yeah.
That's true. But it's been kind of strange to me. Like people are really hating on Weasel right now. Like they're pissed at him. But I was like,
Why?
I don't know. He's like a dog. I don't know. Like I can't blame the man too much. He was saving somebody's life. You know, like in the moment he thought what he was doing was right. And like people are like, oh, I fucking hate this guy. I can't believe he's still alive. But I was like, I don't know. I like Weasel. I think he's a cute little fella. I think he's fun.
It's fair to have mixed emotions, but I wouldn't put the sole blame on him or not. Like again,
Yeah.
to me, you have no idea how like I was just numbed seeing these shots, like seeing this play out and whatnot, and then
That shot's incredible.
yeah, and then you see how instantly like Brian knows something's wrong and reaches out, and like I have never been such like again just numb seeing someone almost being in denial of what's happening in the circumstance and knowing that like she had a big role in these actions occurring, and just this shot just haunts me and will continue haunting me for this year. Like
That build up
that's
when you
good.
see the blood puddle and her body's not on the surface yet, it is gut wrenching.
and
Wow,
the
Jake. Wow.
I didn't even think about that before I said it.
Good
Wow.
Lord.
I did
Wow.
not even think about that.
You mook.
the biggest like fuck off moment I had with this moment was, you know, her getting the call. We made a mistake.
Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
like, fuck this shit, man. Like,
Yeah.
and just it was just so heartbreaking seeing her like I think even still being in denial like the whole time, and just I even like again there's times of like her even telling Phosphorus like now's not the time, dude. Just take a walk, like if you like essentially telling him, and then again effed up moments, tragic moments, and yet find beauty out of it. That is something that you don't see a lot with a lot of mainstream stuff, particularly in the coming out of the US, and seeing how the bride was putting the pieces together. Even when we saw that one dude in the hangar when they got back to Belle Reve, and like she quickly put the pieces together of like, I saw you with Clayface. And to me, honing in the moment that like I'm not killing you for pride and country. This is for a friend. And
Killed my only fucking friend. Like fuck
yeah.
you.
Yeah, like that's the personal story.
Yeah.
Yep.
And even the look on Ilana being, oh fuck, I fuck with the wrong group, if you will. Like I underestimated this group, and
Well, she totally tried to play it off like, oh, it's hey, sorry, but you know, shit happens. It's like, oh no, bitch.
Yeah.
We know you. We saw
She's like,
you.
oh, the jig's
We
up.
know what the fuck you're about.
Yeah.
And she was just as soon as Bride mentioned Clayface. Did you guys also catch when she was rummaging through the books?
Mary
She lands
Shelley.
on Mary Shelley.
Yep. I did see that.
I love those Easter eggs. Yeah, we're just like
I see the first time I saw that I said, "Oh, that's intentional. That's
yeah.
that's beautiful, beautiful stuff."
And
then, but
I
like,
love the angles. I love that like with the silencer just goes after and just nails Alana right there. And then I just
Too bad her
Bobby Pills, and Indira Varma.
the only bad thing about this is I'm not going to be able to see Maria Bakalova in live action as the princess.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little depressing.
Yeah.
Flashback. You can do a
Sure.
What?
No,
Sure.
maybe she's got a twin sister.
No, I think Phil just wants to see Maria Bakalova.
Rick would love that.
It was 100% correct, sir. You were 100% correct.
I already knew where that was going.
Do we think there will be consequences to them killing the princess, though? Like,
I think this is honestly, I think this is what lands Rick Flag the job as leader of Argus. Like this was such a fucking disaster that someone in the government was like, "All right, Waller, you're done. You're this. You got the princess of Picolistan fucking assassinated for this." Yeah, this is probably
Waller's gonna be so much fun.
It's either gonna be this or it's gonna be something from Peacemaker that gets her fucking ass. But the thing is like apparently Flag is the head of Argus by the time Peacemaker season 2 comes out, and I'm like, what could have happened for Amanda Waller to get axed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I think
possible, yeah.
I think you're on the right track. Where it's just like, and they'd be like, there's just too many f ups, if you will. It's just like time to like press the reset button, give somebody else a shot at it, and there's that angle of looking at it that way. And
reference in Superman 2, there could be like a headline that says, you know, like, I don't know, monster massacre cleanup, director replace, whatever. You could see that connective tissue there.
Princess assassinated in Pacola.
Superman also. I was like, Superman 2, that's a long time away. They're not waiting that long.
One headline would be like, U.S. loses oil contract with Pacolistan, and that'd be like people going, oh no, we lost the oil, which was a big factor, which is a very, again, hitting the pulse of Americana foreign policy. And it's just like, I love that he just injects that with the storytelling. And again, you see what a tragedy to see that the bride that was that lady who was running the nightclub, if you will, saying you're trying to die, you're learning how to die. These women are trying to learn how to live, and it cost her a friend to appreciate life and appreciate connection with people. And her, even as soon as she kills someone, saying let's go, let's make it fast, and telling them both to like make nice, you two, be like, listen, I know you hate each other's guts, but we need each other. Like, this is all we got. If not, we're gonna end up like Nina. And you have fucking seeing these shots, seeing her cry, and seeing Phosphorus looking at her, noticing, oh my gosh, she's crying. And you know that a show is working and these characters are working and they're growing when the last, shot is very Last Crusade, if you will. And you see him, giving her, a little tap on the shoulder as saying, it's okay. Like, I understand. Like, it's okay to cry, if you will. Like, to me, I was yelling, fuck you guys. Fuck you, cast and crew, James, everybody involved with this. Like, fuck you for doing that to me. Like, how dare you do that to me and to these monsters, if you will. And but again, one story concludes, and then there leaves space for another one to open. And I don't know about y'all, but like seeing how the bride now is like, listen, we effed up, we're gonna pay you back, we got you your own space and for your crew. And her again stepping up to the plate and seeing how she has a new team member going up with Nosferatu, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
The vampire. Nosferatu. And then you see a mummy joining the crew, which is, I think, is apropos for any Universal Monsters fans, that a mummy is now joining the Creature Commandos. And like, I think someone was hinting at it. I think it was probably Mike that said that like the two biggest reactions out of us that was of joy was seeing GI Robot reporting for duty again, going full mech suit, and we're seeing King Shark back in the joint. And now we're looking back out. And I love that, like, Economos was saying, well, what do you think? She's like, well, what else I got to do? I got nothing else going on. And just perfect ending. Fucking sad that you put us through the ringer, but like, I love that. To me, the best compliment I can give this show in the season is that if this was all we're going to get of a show, but we would see these characters later on, I'm okay with that. But the fact that we're getting a season 2 is a gift, and I think it's something that is a reward to the crew, everybody who put extra time and probably didn't get credits for putting in the time for the show, and for us who bother checking this show out and seeing how this is how you start the DCU. So I loved it. Was there, out of all the stuff we've talked about, was there a favorite moment that y'all had of this episode?
I mean, I think it's a moment you already talked about, but it's just no, I'm not killing you because of my country. I'm killing you because you killed my only friend. And like, I think their bond was my favorite part of the season. Some of what I wanted a little bit more of throughout the season was just these characters getting to bond and spend time with each other and go on these missions, which I think we're going to see more of next season and stuff like that. I think that was fantastic. I do just want to bring up, I don't know if you guys ever talked about it, I missed it, is Clayface isn't dead, right? Like, he seemed a little dead.
No,
he's not dead.
Just, if you play Arkham, it's the same mess. You put him in a freeze grenade, he might dissipate, break a million pieces. But
but that could have been a prequel though too.
Fair, yeah.
Yeah,
But
no, yeah. I've seen Young Justice too many times. He's alive.
I don't think he's dead, but I was like, he looks dead.
Yeah.
That's all.
He looks immobile for now. I think like they really got him with that shock, if you will.
Right.
It might hurt his feelings, and you might be wondering how I got here in this bucket. So it all started. Bucket.
If I had to talk about singular moment, the one that really got me in this finale was like right before the massacre in the water, to where you just the series of stakes to where Waller realizes that they were wrong, and like we as the audience said they were wrong. The team thought they were wrong on one part, but then didn't realize they were actually like that she was actually bad from the beginning. So just that series of revelations takes piling on top of each other. The music in the background as the build up as Nina gets closer to the princess, just that little bit, and you see Weasel freaking out the entire time. Everyone's trying to keep him quiet to not blow their cover, and just so many things happening in just like a minute stretch of time. But that's how you build up momentum. That's how you build up stakes. And there was dread inside me, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. How about you, Phil?
Oh, when Bride shot Princess Alana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That headshot was class. It was
Oh, yeah.
well done.
Yeah,
It was a no-brainer.
That's art, in my opinion. That is.
It's art.
This is a work of art.
100% is a work of art. Yeah.
I also love that shot, and we already talked about it, but like when she's in the water and the blood is going up into the princess's face, it's like, oh my gosh, like that is the true monster in the show right there. Like she's that's such a good shot. That's so cool.
Right. And just the visuals of this whole show have just been
those are evil eyes.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that's convinced that maybe G.I. Robot might show up in Superman because Rick Flag's there.
It's possible.
That'd be
Sean
fun.
Gunn is there. I'm just like,
Could be Peacemaker as well, since like
I'm
he's in that show
betting.
too.
I'm betting that given the crazy tease of that Native American character sitting by the fire, I'm just like,
Yeah.
they've got to be doing something just off the fucking wall with
That's
that.
probably what's the dude's name who died in the first half of Suicide Squad? He played Yondu.
Oh, Rooker.
Michael Rooker.
That might be him. I don't know.
It's not Savant, but it might be the same actor. Maybe it might be Rooker. I don't know. I have no idea. Michael Rooker notoriously works with James Gunn on almost everything, so yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he came back and did another role.
Get him as Batman. The only choice.
And by the way, you can't renew your own show. That's not how business works. But yes, if it's good, we'll see you next year. That's how it works.
I mean, I wonder if he's going to write it or if he's going to get some of the Harley Quinn crew to help him write, or Dean Lorey might get some of the Harley Quinn crew to help write season 2.
Yeah.
That's possible. That show's on its 5th season?
Yes.
5th season coming out next week. My review will be on Monday.
Nice.
There it is.
I would assume it's going to season 6 as well, because they always do them in batches. There's always 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I would assume it's 5 and 6.
5 and 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Mike? Did you have a favorite moment?
No, for me, yeah, I think it was the most like darkest moment of her going to the water, but the her going down to the water and you seeing her on top of the water, like how he was basically mimicking her movements while she was swimming, so way that she couldn't tell, and until she looked down that she was there. But look, I mean, I just like the animation on that. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I first saw the animation, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, like the show or this universe and stuff, because DC animation is something I'm a big stickler for. Especially, I'm not a fan of the Tomorrowverse animation, but I'm okay with the DC animated, animation and stuff that they did, with their movies and stuff. But I just wanted a nice kind of healthy balance. But this animation grew on me. But I knowing James and knowing what he's been pitching, also with the dynamic duo and stuff, they're gonna do like a variety of different animation, not just have one clear cut, same thing like Marvel's What If, whatever. So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. It's gonna be a little bit jarring to get used to. I mean, again, on a creative standpoint, I'm happy to see that. But yeah, it was King Shark. I was happy to see King Shark. That was yeah.
Right on.
And-
Not Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah,
Dietrich Bader.
They couldn't afford him.
it was
Not for
Dietrich
that
Bader.
scene.
Okay, so he's going
Yeah,
from
not for
Batman
one
to King
episode.
Shark. Nice.
I wonder if he'll be
range.
back for, like, if he goes into movies again. I wonder if they'll get him back.
It might.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kind of depends, right? Like,
They asked James if we would see him back in live action. He's like, I don't know about right now. Steve Agee is busy with the Commandos, but he said you never know.
It'd be
Yeah.
cool for like a Batman cameo where he's just like fighting King Shark just for like a 3-second scene or whatever.
That would have fit so well back in Brave and the Bold days. Oh my god.
if they were further along and Superboy was the thing, I'd be like, yeah, show me that. Show me
Yeah.
Superboy.
Like the first appearance. Yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
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 That'd be great. But
The possibilities, man.
maybe down the line somewhere.
Yeah.
Maybe at some point.
Folks, I think that's going to be our discussion on the finale of Creature Commandos Season 1. Now, I know what y'all might think and be like, what? We want more? Trust me, I have a plan that we're going to do another stream in the not too distant future where we're going to talk about the whole season because I want to give as many of each of these episodes their own time to shine, their own time to discuss, and then now that it's out, and I'll be kind to a lot of folks who right now probably haven't seen it yet, you can go watch the whole show, and then in a few days, come back, hang out with all of us, and we talk about the season as a whole, where maybe we have some critiques or some maybe favorite moments that aren't out of the finale. And I'll say this to tease about my thoughts of the season as a whole. This soundtrack for this show, Moliendo Cafe, the American Wedding, Hey Clown. I mean, to me, this is a better soundtrack than what I think a Peacemaker got, in my opinion. And it's up there with Guardians and Suicide Squad soundtrack because it is so left field, and yet it fit perfectly with these monsters. It fit perfectly with the attitude at points. And but yeah, I want to do a little tease that we will talk about the season as a whole later down the pipeline. But Matt Peters, who did the direction, to James, who did the writing, and to everybody who put in blood, sweat, and tears to each effing frame, kudos. And again, a special shout out to Zoe Chow as Nina, who's been the heart and soul of this crew, and Indira Varma, who's now been the leader rising up alongside Rick Flag, but now she is the one who's going to be running this show onwards for the Commandos. I love them, and I can't wait to when Miss Varma is not busy. I will be bugging and be like, Miss Varma, I just want to talk to you about the bride. Let's talk about the bride because I think the people behind the Bride of Frankenstein would be proud of what you're doing with the character in this show. Yeah, those are my thoughts of it. Muchachos, thank you so much for taking your time to talk about Commandos in the finale. We're going to go down that line. I want everybody to plug yourself, tell people where we can find you. Let's start with Darren. Darren?
Hello, yeah, no, you can find me over on my channel, Darren McClymans. I do the pipeline every Thursday, and then I do After the Credits every Monday, just pop culture, TV show, live streams, stuff like that. And yeah, you can find me on all these other channels too, like Council of Creators and Party Nation, and I've been here a couple times now, which has been really fun. So yeah, check out all those things.
Beautiful. All right, Phil?
If anyone wants to follow me, it's everywhere except Twitter, just at Unfiltered. You can catch my YouTube show every Friday called Friday Phil. Kind of like Darren, I do a lot of pop culture, movie, DC, Marvel, Star Wars talk over there every Friday, 4:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I write for Multiverse of Color. I also wrote every review for every episode of Creature Commandos this past season, as well as providing a spoiler-free review earlier on with the show, right before the show debuted, and yeah, the latest review for the finale is up there as well. You guys can also check out my Eternal Night podcast that I do with my buddy Craig. It's a Batman centric podcast, and you can also catch me on Council of Creators as well as the Vodka Stream every Friday night, and well, hopefully here talking with Ronan more often in the future.
Yeah. Jake, what do we got?
So you can find me here on YouTube at Joypad Jake. Also, I write for Comful. Pretty much everywhere else. Blue Sky, sometimes Twitter, not Instagram, but these are what I do down here at the bottom. I've got Let's Plays. We have a Jack and Daxter Let's Play going currently. We have character costume rankings. Just did Venom. Next one is Green Lantern. X-Men Legends Resopocalypse is our next retro review coming out. Do a crap ton of Arkham rankings. So if there's a specific thing you guys want to see ranked in that series, let me know. And whenever I'm on here, on here with Ronan, whenever we're talking about things like Commandos, on Darren streams, whenever he has me on, Council Creators, Party Nation sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much me. And I'm trying to get to 2,000 subs by the release of Superman. So I want to see if I can hit that goal.
You're here.
Hell yeah.
Jedi. Mike.
Oh yeah, you can find me on YouTube and everywhere at Jedi Mike 7. Brought to you by Sowell Media, made my LLC and all that stuff. So yeah, we are moving forward in 2025. I also been writing for stuff for Multiverse of Color as well. Also, you'll see me on Team JVS as well going throughout this year. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, and also you see me here at Miguel Ronan on Chain. Give him the 1,000 by end of February.
Yeah.
You love him on the
Amen.
month of love. Subscribe.
Thank you,
Get
hermano.
him to 2 million by tomorrow, or else.
I will
Yes.
drop acid if that happened. I'll be like,
There,
I'm
what
doing
you doing?
it.
I'll say,
I'm doing
I'll
it.
say it for you. 2 million subscribers. Woo!
oh no, no. Folks, share the sentiments. The more this channel grows, the more my wacky ideas can come to fruition. I have
no.
ideas of on a random Tuesday morning or whatever day, I just fly out to where Phil, where Mike, where Darren, where Jake is, and be like, yo, I got a mic and I got a camera. Let's fucking record something. And let's go to Disneyland or something.
Well, depending on when you record it. When you say it like that, shit.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
and then I'm gonna look
I
over.
got a
and be like,
camera, I got a mic, and I got $20.
no, and then I'm
No,
gonna look
no.
over, no, and then I'm gonna look over.
I
and be
got
like,
a toothbrush.
I'm gonna look over and be like, "How did you get in my house?"
Get
I knocked.
out, actually. I'm sleeping.
But yeah,
that West Coast
I-
time.
yeah, let's grow out the channel more and more. Like I said, more stuff will come to fruition, and know that 2025 is going to be an ambitious year because you got a lot of Star Wars, DC, and a lot of independent stuff coming down the pipeline, like anime and stuff. So be on the lookout, subscribe, like this video. More of this stuff is shared out, and I want a lot of people coming out. I want people that we haven't met yet. I want people from out of the country. I want that crazy, hectic vibe in this channel. And I hope y'all stay tuned, and hopefully you go check out our reactions to the show. And if you're a Lifestyles fan, I got plenty of coverage of that coming down the pipeline. So until then, everybody have a safe, good night, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.